headlines, Prime Minister Nagamutu defends Gawu leaders' stance on sugar workers. Ramsey undergoing sea defense works by Public Infrastructure Ministry. 2017, a good year for forestry despite challenges, and GASA to receive funding from FINA. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. Daddy! And now for the details. I begin by reading a press statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the decision by the United Nations Secretary General on the border controversy between Guyana and Venezuela. Guyana welcomes the decision of the Secretary General of the United Nations to refer the controversy between Guyana and Venezuela to the International Court of Justice, ICJ. Guyana has always held the view that the ICJ is the appropriate forum for the peaceful and definitive settlement of the controversy, and is pleased that that view has prevailed under the process developed by both Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Guyana will not allow factors extraneous to the controversy to influence its referral to the court, but it will continue the advancement of peaceful relations with Venezuela, whose people are the brothers and sisters of Guyanese. In this context, Guyana acknowledges the Secretary General's suggestions for the immediate future. That Guyana has stood firm against Venezuela's attempt to reopen a territorial boundary settled and recognized for half a century before its independence, and done so despite the manifest unequal strengths between the two countries. It is to our national credit. Guyana, as one of the world's smallest developing countries, is pleased that its reliance on the rule of law internationally has been the underpinning of its national sovereignty. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu has defended leader of the Ghana Agricultural Workers Union, Kamal Chan's stance on the sugar workers. Alexis Rodney has the details.
Addressing former workers and other stakeholders at a ministerial outreach at the Skeldon Community Center Friday last, Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu said the effort of the opposition to vilify Chan is due to their narrow political agenda.
Retrenchment was not in our will. We inherited that from the past government. They had already written that in for you, that you will be severed and you will be gone. All they wanted you for was to become a voting machine. To become a voting machine. And today they want to get rid of Komal Chan because the issue of a third term for the president comes up. And they realize that the largest block of vote that will vote in the Congress and the PP would come from Gawu people. And so they want to lop off Komal Chan's head.
In addition, the Prime Minister said the opposition leader's campaign to topple Komal Chan as leader of Gawu has nothing to do with the workers' interest, but rather Jagdeo's third-term ambitions.
And so ambitions are floating, and while ambitions are floating, we have no working solution from the opposition. If they love sugar workers so much, if they care for sugar workers so much, they will come to meetings. But they were annoyed with Gawu. They were annoyed, vexed with Nasi for coming to talk to us, for us to find solution to the problems.
Following Gawu's and Nasi's acceptance of the government's proposal to pay redundant workers severance in two parts, the leader of the opposition orchestrated a campaign to have Komal Chan removed as head of the Gawu. Chan is one of the few long-standing supporters remaining in the PPP, following the forced removal of stalwarts such as Ralph Ramkaran, Kemraj Ramjatan, and Moses Nagamutu. Alexis Rodney for InfoHub.
The Ministry of Public Infrastructure is assuring residents of Ramsey that ongoing sea defense works will not jeopardize their livelihoods. Renetta LaFleur was on site today and filed this report.
Today I am at the Ramsey area where over 500 meters of riprap sea defense works are ongoing between Waller's Delight and Ramsey. Within the last 3 years, there has been rapid degradation of the mangrove forest. Therefore, these works are critical for protecting the livelihoods of the residents in the area. Chief Sea and River Defense Officer Kevin Samad told InfoHub that between Harlem to Ramsey, there was no physical structure, and over the years, the mangroves have been the natural defense against flooding. However, Samad said, quote, the erosion of the mangrove has resulted in an unprecedented foreshore level, and the area has been suffering from intense wave action. End of quote. The Chief Sea and River Defense Officer explained that after monitoring the area, the government took the proactive decision to undertake the RIPWAP works. Project Coordinator Denix Ramsingh updated InfoHub on the works.
To date, approximately 75% of works have been completed and works are ongoing. The contract is hoping to complete works within the next month or so.
From the construction site at Rumzet, I am Renetta LaFleur reporting for InfoHub.
Former employees of Gaisuco were yesterday given guidance for transitioning from their former jobs at the now reorganized Guyana Sugar Corporation. Here is this report.
Addressing the large turnout of former Gaisuco employees and stakeholders at the Enmore Community Center ground, manager of East Demerara Estate Corbett Victorine addressed the transitioning process for workers affected by redundancy.
We know, as our history has taught us, that the sugar estates has become a very important economic base. As a result of that, Gaisuco understood that this restructuring would have come with some economic shakeup. As such, the Sustainable Communities Program was developed.
The estate manager said that there have been partnerships with several ministries and agencies. Also, the Small Business Bureau has assisted greatly with the training of persons. Victorine, who will head the Sustainable Communities Program, explained.
This program is a three-pronged program, and it involves an economic resilient component, a social resilient component, and an environmental resilient component. We seek ultimately to have this fund which will enable reskilling of ex-employees and to provide financial and technical support for startup and scaling up businesses.
The occasion at the Enmore Community Center ground was a business, financial, and investment forum. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
The Guyana Wildlife Conservation and Management Commission, which falls under the purview of the Department of the Environment, will this year continue to focus on building its capacity by implementing measures aimed at strengthening its legal and institutional framework. Details from Stacey Carmichael.
Head of the Guyana Wildlife Conservation and Management Commission, GWCMC, Alona Sankar, during a sector review, said the commission is working on the development of a 10-year strategic plan and building its human resource capacity. The GWCMC is also working on developing regulations on the hunting, trapping, trade, protection, conservation, management, and sustainable use of wildlife. Minister of State Joseph Harmon called for the finalizing of these regulations to be expedited so that they can be operationalized. This, he said, is key to the work of the Commission and committed to addressing the challenges, which include financial and human resource constraints.
There are some issues which we have to deal with on a one-on-one, which some of it has to do with the way in which some of your responsibilities reside in another department's act. I think we need to streamline those and get them fixed during the course of 2018.
GWCMC will also be working on regulations on the design, management, and operation of wildlife holding premises, the international and local wildlife trade, and the development of licensing process for commercial dealers. For 2017, the Commission successfully granted 24 commercial exportation licenses, 23 holding premises licenses, and 714 permits. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Forest production for 2017 has been revised upwards and the industry has set an ambitious target for 2018. Tiffany Rogers tells us more.
Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman said log production for 2017 is expected to reach 360,000 cubic meters.
The revised target set for 2017 was 320,000 cubic meters. As of to date, because the information is still being compiled, but as of today's date, we can say safely that we met the target and have surpassed it. So I am reporting that we have already accounted for 345,000 cubic meters, sorry.
The last 2 years has been challenging for the forestry sector, and Minister Trotman noted this performance is very good for the industry.
I dare say that it may or should bring a smile on the face of our Minister of Finance, and hopefully we'll see a revised growth rate for 2017.
The government has made allowance for several concessions in the industry in the 2018 budget to increase production. The minister is confident that the introduction of a stockyard will aid loggers to improve their performance in 2018.
We are setting ourselves an ambitious target of 400,000 cubic meters for log production, with, of course, more emphasis on value added.
The government has also budgeted for the completion of a forest inventory and have taken measures to restrict the import of pine wood, all with the aim of improving performance in the forestry sector. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rojas.
Local aquatic sport is expected to be spectacular this year after coming off a phenomenal 2017, says President of the Guyana Amateur Swimming Association, Ivan Prasad. Here's our last report for the evening.
This will largely be due to the financial assistance the Guyana Amateur Swimming Association is expected to receive from FINA, the International Swimming Federation, over the next 4 years. Prasad said that the appeal was made to FINA in 2015 by the lesser South American nations for financial assistance.
We've so far been able to, we were guaranteeing monies from FINA, so we have a couple of weeks' time to send in all of our programs. We had meetings regarding this, and we're sure that for the next 4 years, we'll be getting finances coming to Guyana, at least to help with our outreach program, our training programs for our national team, for the Inter-Guyana Games team, for the Goodwill team, the Goodwill which will be held in Barbados. So now it's a bit more easier for us to maneuver.
However, the GASA president said before the monies can be acquired, FINA requires a number of prerequisites, which include an audited financial statement.
One of the things that FINA wants us to be in good stead financially, and we are at the moment, even today we had meeting with our auditors, and very, very shortly we will be getting a sign-off on our audited financial statement, which is also a requirement at the National Sports Commission and Government of Guyana. So I can safely say that very shortly, the Guyana Amateur Swimming Association will be equal to a lot of the other associations who boast well of having financial statements.
The funding will allow the Guyana Amateur Swimming Association to effectively carry out its work program for 2018, something which posed a challenge for the association in 2017. Alexis Rodney for InfoHub.
Before I go, let me remind you again that January has been designated Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. Women 21 years and older are reminded to have their pap smears done, since early detection saves lives. Thanks for watching. Remember to connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Goodbye.